Before we start, guys, I just want to make sure that you are aware that the presented analysis is not an investment and financial advice or trading advice or any other type of advice. Presentation owner does not have any responsibility or any decision taken based on the provided content. The analysis is purely for information purpose, and presentation owner does not have any responsibility for any missing or wrong information. Any information included can be used at one's own risk. Moreover, cryptocurrencies are very volatile. Do not invest all your savings in cryptocurrencies. Oh gosh, you hear a commercial on the radio. So the such announcements they're pronounced in a very fast speed. So okay, yeah. One thing I just wanted to announce before we start is that right now, let me check how many. Right now there are more than 1,800, I believe. And let me check the CoinMarketCap. 1,855 projects in the market. Just imagine, guys, 1,855 projects in the market. So do you really believe that all of those projects are legit? Do you believe that all of those projects have real value here, have the real use cases in the market they are trying to reach? I doubt. I'm very doubtful about those. Unfortunately, I do not remember the name of the agency, but one agency recently has published an article saying that about 75 to 85% of all recent ICOs are scams. So, to my mind, about 70% plus minus 5% of the projects that are right now in the market are scams. So today our goal is to, not today, but our goal in general is to filter all those scam projects and to decide what projects are liable to be invested in. And today we're going to talk about Ripple. So let's come back to Ripple and see if it is a really interesting project, if it is worth our money to be invested. Just one second again. Okay. Yes. Right. So to begin with, yeah. Also, I should remind you that What the Hack Show is powered by Zet Fund, and actually all those fundamental analysis, they are based on Zet method, and Zet method is a set of constant fundamental and dynamic metrics of a new type of digital assets such as cryptocurrencies, tokens, decentralized autonomous organizations or network, to develop a solid scoring methodology in order to evaluate asset investment attractiveness and allocate maximum possible risks. That method outlines the metrics both discovered from open sources and designed in-house by a group of skilled analysts from Zet Analytics team. So, besides other videos that will be published soon on What the Hack channel, this very episode series is devoted to the fundamental analysis of crypto and new digital assets, and is powered by Zet Fund with the support of Zet Fund Analytics. And we are continuing to the to Ripple. Yes. So to begin with, I should say that I just want to remind that all the metrics that we selected from for the Zet method, this unique methodology of new digital assets evaluation, are grouped into 4 clusters. And the first of them is principles, and I believe that we would try to concentrate to focus on those basic principles metrics. Oh yeah, devices. So we'll try to focus on those principles just to fit this stream into the time frame that we allocated. Actually, we have 39 minutes left, so we'll try. But first of all, we'll go through the principles, and if we have time, we'll take a couple of other metrics that are important and have the major importance to my personal and honorable opinion. So we are moving to principles, and the first metric is major notions and definitions. Okay, guys. So first of all, we should define here that Ripple and XRP are not the same. So Ripple Labs Incorporated is a company driven by a goal of implementing blockchain technology to the global payment network. Its solution connects payment providers, banks, corporates, and digital assets exchanges to transfer money globally. Ripple provides licensed software and integration services that enable clients to facilitate real-time payments. So I hope you are clear here that Ripple Labs Incorporated is a company, is actually a group of people who develop a software and provide integrational services that enables this software. The next notion we want to be familiar with is XRP. XRP is a digital asset, correct? Yes, here we go. A digital asset operating on the open source blockchain-based ledger called XRP Ledger, or just Ledger, which can be used by banks to source liquidity on demand in real time without having to pre-find nostro accounts. Payment providers use XRP to expand reach into new markets, lower foreign exchange costs, and provide faster payment settlement. Ripple, the company, use XRP and XRP Ledger for its product called xRapid. So we're definitely gonna talk, and I will definitely gonna explain what is a nostro account. So because it is very important to understand how those Ripple Labs products function in the real market. So far, just take information as it is. So XRP is a digital asset, and XRP Ledger. These are two components of the next notion named RippleNet. So RippleNet is a decentralized network based on agreement between Ripple and network participants, all of which utilize the same technology and adhere to consistent set of payment rules and standards. So actually, RippleNet is a kind of blockchain, as a group of entities that operates within the network, facilitating different financial functions and operations using XRP, XRP Ledger, and other products designed by Ripple Labs and operating on top of this Ripple net. So I hope it's clear. If you are not clear with any definition or notions from this part of our presentation, just write a comment, ask anything you are not clear with, and I will be quick and I will try to answer those questions. I will try to implement all my knowledge to answer those questions. Okay, so we're clear here. So there is Ripple Labs, there is XRP, and there is RippleNet. All those three notions we should segregate in our understandings, in our mind, to understand how the project and the company work. So, and we are moving further to problem definition. So what is the problem? What is the problem Ripple Labs as a company is trying to solve? And there is actually very real and stale problems right now, right now in the market. And the first problem is transaction costs. So highly expensive cross-border payments, especially through banks infrastructure or wire transfers. Other cryptocurrencies transactions are also costly in comparison with Ripple. So if you're probably familiar with cross-border transactions, you must be familiar with the problem. So such companies like Money Transfer and Western Union, their main service is money transfer. They transfer money to different countries. So for example, if you live in US or Europe or Russia, for example, and you want to send let's say $200 for any service, or just as a gift or a present to your friend or relative, doesn't matter. So Western Union will charge you a pretty decent sum as a fee for this transfer. That's why the transactions are very expensive, and I believe this is the fastest option to send money. If you send the money via other options, they will be much more slower. Guys, I'm sorry still for the English, because did not have a lot of practice, so I will improve that in soon future. Anyway, write any comments if you do not like my English or pronunciation. Okay, so just feel free to critique everything you don't like or like. We're open for this. Okay, we're moving further. Settlements time. Yeah, settlements time. I just said cross-border payments through banks currently take 3 to 5 days due to the number of intermediaries involved in the process. Similarly to the problem of transaction costs, this is also addressed by other cryptocurrencies. Yeah, settlement time is not satisfying for many people who use cross-border transactions. 3 to 5 days, too long. Comparing to Bitcoin and any other cryptocurrency transactions. So an average Bitcoin transaction can take up to an hour at least. On average, yeah. And if you provide a better fee for Bitcoin transaction, a high fee, so you can expect this transaction to be settled within 10 minutes. And guys, there are cryptocurrencies that can offer you instant transactions. So like you just press send, and the money is on the wallet of the person you send the money to. But it's still a problem in a classic market, in the market of classic money transfer. And the third problem is standardization. As a consequence of a lack of standardization across networks, banks have limited servicing capabilities. It is not possible to transfer data with the transaction, making it unreliable for end users to send critical information with their transaction or to precisely evaluate transaction fees. So there's no standardization in the market, though the market is pretty adult, let's say so. There are different systems working and operating in the market, and they do have conflicts. That's why I believe there is like an sub problem, because there are two different systems, and it takes time to communicate to those systems to each other, for those systems to each other. And half of the work of communication is done manually by people. So they input messages, they put information manually. That's why it takes a few days instead of seconds if it is automated. And Ripple is trying to solve this problem. Let's see how they are trying to solve this, what solutions they are providing right now to the market. Actually, there are free products. There are free products developed and designed by Ripple Labs for the market, but we're gonna talk in details about two of them. And the first one is xCurrent. So xCurrent is a processing payment product. Ripple Network presented Ripple Network, presented by its members such as banks and payment providers, banks looking to process payments for corporates and consumers. Some would also process payments for and provide liquidity to other banks. These banks would leverage RippleNet to enhance their servicing to existing customers and drive acquisition. Payment providers looking to supply liquidity and expand payout reach for banks to increase their payment volumes. Ripple's software that provides API-based messaging and transaction settlement based on an open, neutral protocol of value transfer between different ledgers and networks. Just let me check if the sound goes right. Yeah, the sound goes right. Okay. Yeah, guys, like I just said, so xCurrent is a payment processing enabling a protocol that allowing banks to communicate with each other and settle transactions in a faster manner or fashion. All members of RippleNet are connected through Ripple's standardized technology called xCurrent. xCurrent is the first global real-time gross settlement, or RTGS for short as abbreviation. So the first global real-time gross settlement system that enables banks to message, clear and settle their transactions with increased speed, transparency and efficiency across RippleNet's global footprint of banks and payment providers. It is designed to comply with each bank's risk, privacy and compliance requirements because the software is architected to fit within banks' existing infrastructure. It minimizes integration overhead and business disruption. So we see, guys, that one second. Yeah, I still need to get used to the software of broadcasting. So you see, guys, that RippleNet it connects different types of organizations dealing with money transfer, such as banks and payment providers and correspondent banks and different financial institutions that operate with real money, with cash. And they allow to utilize their service not coming into conflict with the existing system. So it's kind of new layer up, top layer. So this Ripple network, to my understanding, is like a top layer over the existing system and banks that does not create new overhead, but allows to integrate the new payment solutions into the existing service, preserving the procedures of KYC, preserving the already established procedures of transparency and efficiency and privacy and compliance requirements. So that's why it may be a good sign for Ripple to enter the market and to become popular. So another thing I would like to tell you about Ripple network is how it is operating. So many people understand that RippleNet is a blockchain. So actually, it's a decentralized network, but not blockchain. And there are different technologies implemented in this network, which helps actually to sustain this network to operate. And one of those elements are validators or nodes. So validators is a component. Yeah, let's get back to the presentation. Yeah, validators. One second again. No. Gosh. Okay. Yes. Okay, so validators are nodes that operates in the system, in the network, and help to sustain this network. So validator or a node is a component that cryptographically confirms the success or failure of a payment. It coordinates the funds movement across the ledgers of transacting parties in a way that removes all settlement risks and minimizes delays in settlement. Validator provides the single source of truth for the transacting counterparties regarding the success or failure of a payment. And actually the database that is used in this network is called ledger as well, or interledger protocol is a sub-ledger of each transacting bank's general ledger. This component of xCurrent is utilized to track the credits, debits, and liquidity across the transacting parties. So validators as nodes interacting in a RippleNet. So anybody can become a validator, and actually right now there are validators or nodes running by very famous and let's say trustworthy companies, bodies, and one of them is MIT, Massachusetts Institute of Technologies. So I would bet that you know this name. And this actually gives a solid trust to Ripple network if such brands and names are taking part in sustaining in the Ripple network, the RippleNet, pardon. So xCurrent creates a direct, secure connection between the banks. Sometimes it is called a blockchain for banks. All payment data is sent directly between the institutions that are parties to the payment. Neither Ripple, the company, nor any third party have access to this data. Validator only sees the cryptographic cases that it uses to mathematically verify that each institution has fulfilled the conditions required to execute the payment and does not require payment data. This limits the number of times data needs to be transmitted between the two banks. The actual payment data is encrypted and shared only between the two institutions making payments to each other when necessary. So, to give you more understanding and clearness of how the RippleNet or Interledger operates, so it is a real technical solution that allows two banks connect to each other through this network and exchange the messages whenever they need. And actually the validators are the nodes in the network. They validate if the transaction is true or false with some cryptographic and with some cryptographic magic, let's say so. So that's why it helps to connect banks without intermediaries. That makes the networks more secure and the communication faster, much more faster. So, and here I have so here I have a small chart showing that estimated total cost per payment when using XRP or Ripple is cut up to 60%. 60%. So banks can save up to 60% on margin cost of payment production, let's say so. I hope that's clear. If you're not still clear, because it took me personally a decent time to understand how the network operates, or what are the validators, and how those validators and banks they're interconnected between each other. So how do they transact within this network? So if you are not still clear, I'm open to your questions. So write down in the comments any questions you like, and I will be happy to answer them. And we are moving to the next product offered by Ripple, and this product is called xRapid. Okay, so yeah, and just to remind, we have 15 minutes left, and we decided to focus on the product, the major metrics of the fundamental analysis we have actually conducted and presenting right now. So 15 minutes left, and we already discussed the major definitions, such as Ripple Labs, XRP, and RippleNet, and we just discussed the major product of Ripple Labs called xCurrent, which is provided by Ripple Labs, and how it is operating. And right now we are moving to xRapid, another product offered by Ripple Labs. So xRapid is a liquidity sourcing. It's a service or software that provides to source liquidity, offering on-demand liquidity for payment providers and banks. The goal of xRapid is to minimize liquidity cost through use of XRP liquidity solution. So xRapid is a liquidity solution, on-demand liquidity pool, and using XRP token as a bridge currency will solve the problem of high fees and speed transactions, especially when it occurs transactions in different currencies, and eliminating the need to hold Nostro account by banks and payment providers in destination currencies. So to give you more understanding of xRapid solution, I should come back to a notion as Nostro account. So imagine you're trying to send $100 for example, to your girlfriend who is right now in in France, for example. Okay, so you're busy with your work and you send your girlfriend for a weekend in France with her girlfriend, and you want to make her pleased, or you want to make her you want to present her a gift, and you send in her $100, and those $100 must be transferred into euros, because French people, they do not accept dollars like Bitcoin so far, I believe. And that is why your girlfriend has to come to a bank or money transfer operator company and receive this amount in euros. So to provide such service to your girlfriend, this company must have enough money to provide your girlfriend with such service, and other people's. They need liquidity, and actually xRapid is a solution to offer such liquidity with XRP. So XRP can be a bridge currency to provide banks and transfer operators with currency liquidity, because XRP can be converted into different currency at a certain rates, and this does not require those operators and those banks to have Nostro accounts in the destination currency. And yes, Nostro account is an account of a financial organization, institution, and it is held in the country of destination currency, and it must be filled with the local currency. For example, if you're a bank X and you want to provide your customers where in Brazil, okay, so you have customers in US, and you want to provide them to send money to Brazilians, you have to open a Nostro account in Brazil and hold their Brazilian liras. I believe that lira is current currency in Brazil. But instead, you can open, you can leave this idea to open a Nostro account and implement xRapid solution and use XRP as a bridge currency to take dollars from US citizens and convert them into no, you take US dollars from US citizens and you convert your XRP that you hold on your pool, in your liquidity pool, you convert them in liras and give liras to Brazilians that are respondents for money transfer. So I hope it's clear. It's very difficult to understand, but still. So xRapid is a liquidity solution and utilizing XRP coins as a bridge currency. And here is actually the driver for XRP value. So many people hesitate that XRP token or coin has any value because xCurrent does not implement use XRP within the system, but it is a mistaken understanding, and if you still do not agree with my opinion, you can go to the comments and write your opinion. But I know, as far as I understand and as far as we understand, with my colleagues from Zet Fund that helped me to conduct this fundamental analysis. So xCurrent, xRapid is a part of xCurrent technical solution, and providing liquidity is a part of all banks' activity. So they will definitely need liquidity. So they will definitely use those liquidity pools utilizing XRP as a bridge currency. The only question remains is how soon and how many banks will use this solution. So that is the only question remains, and it depends on the speed and success of the team of Ripple. So I hope it's clear. It's very difficult to understand, but we need to figure out how Ripple solutions work and how XRP token or coin gains its value from. So if you still have any questions, write down in the comments. And we are moving to the next metric. That is okay. Yeah. We have here a resume. So I want to read this resume up. So just give me a second. Okay, so a single minimum transaction cost required by Ripple network for a standard transaction is 1/10,000th XRP. Hence, you can process 100,000 transactions for 1 XRP, currently less than $1, significantly less than any currency methods. Settlements time on Ripple network are instant, takes 3 to 5 seconds. Standardized technology without intermediaries, possibility of real-time messaging via Ripple network, end-to-end visibility into XRP as a global currency for liquidity provision. So we see that those solutions that are offered by Ripple network solve the first settlement time problem, the second fee size, so it's definitely it's definitely cheaper, like 10 or 20 times cheaper than the solutions that are right now in the market. And the second one is standardization. So the very really big problem in banking market right now is that they lack a standardized technical solution to create this global network to communicate between each other. So there are different banks, there are different money transfer operators, there are different financial institutions, and they use different technical solutions. And actually Ripple offers a standardized solution connecting different types of software operating in the market, and join them, not join, but gather them together into a single network, provided with other technical solutions that enhance the efficiency of this network and the market in general. So and we are moving to the next metric, is initial distribution analysis. So it must be said that 1 billion of XRP tokens were pre-mined, and actually it is not a secret that 60% of all XRP tokens are held by the owners and the initial founders of the project. And the company put 55 billion XRP into escrow account, so that they will be not issued, but they will be put out from this escrow account on a monthly basis. So it will create, due to founders and the team members of XRP, it will create a steadily liquidity of tokens. So the tokens do not flow in the market straight away, but they go in the market steadily. So probably it's kind of part of strategy. And it should not be a risk when you consider, when you think that 60% are held by are possessed by Ripple founders. But you should understand that it is not purely a blockchain or crypto network, let's say. So it's not purely a network like Bitcoin or any other cryptocurrencies. You should consider Ripple as tokens that operate within the network, and the goal of Ripple Labs to make XRP a bridge currency like other foreign currencies, like for example euro or pounds or probably Japanese yen or US dollars, a global currency for currency basket. So they're trying to make XRP this global currency to provide liquidity. This is to provide liquidity, yes. And that is actually will not do any effect to the market, because the founders are interested in value growth of those tokens, and will not dump their own tokens to dump the price. And so that is not a risk to my personal mind and to my colleagues' mind. So just take attention to it. And we're moving to, we have how many? Okay, so we have 10 minutes, guys. So we discussed the major products, the major solutions offered by offered by the company. Just let me switch this annoying alarm. Okay, and we have time to take to deep dive into some more interesting things, such as market.